Hello everybody, it's good to be back on the Football Ramble, and it's a Friday for crying out loud. What a day to be alive. Vish, nice to have you back on the pod with me,
nice to be back. All it took was another £1 billion of signings, and here I am again.
Here you are again, fresh from the cricket, fresh from Manchester United signings. Lovely old job. Jim Campbell returning for another swing. How are you, old boy?
I've been holding down the fort. Everything's fine in your absence. Don't worry, it's not falling apart. It's a little bit rickety, but I think we're going to be okay.
I think we're going to be okay. There's been a lot of Oasis chat since I've been away, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm just glad that you and Luke have reverted to Oasis fandom. There are still one or two unbelievers among us, but I think we can all agree.
Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit?
I think we can all agree, Vish, I was proved right in the end.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember not being an Oasis fan, but there you go. I'll let you have that.
Community Shield. Community Shield, everybody. Let's sorry about the bollocks. Let's get on with the Community Shield.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace
repurposing Wembley for football.
That's it. Oasis have moved out the way so the Community Shield can happen. Crystal Palace against Liverpool, Sunday at 3 p.m. Palace's first ever appearance in the Community Shield. Vish, people say, well, it's not that big a deal. It's the curtain raiser. You have to win something to get into this final.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you're in it, you're a successful team and it's worth winning. As you well know, it is a gateway cup or shield to other shields.
It's a gateway shield to other cups. Yeah. You're absolutely right. You do have to win something to be in it. And you know what? Given the summer that Crystal Palace have had, they should be grateful because this could be taken away from them. You know, we have won them once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A team in France did quite well in their cup, so you're not allowed. What? Sorry. Take it up with your former owner.
You're in the Johnson's Paint Trophy instead of the FA Cup this year.
Yeah.
Do you miss Manchester United being in the Community Shield, Vish?
No,
you do.
Not really. Not if it
Again,
means
you have to have won something to get in.
No, you don't. You don't have to have won something to spend a lot of money, do you?
Yeah.
Do you know what? There is a quirk though, because I suppose if a team does the double, then you don't necessarily have to win something, do you? You can get in through what would it be, second place?
Yeah, that's very much the cuck share of Community Shield places.
It is. Yeah.
An early mention on your return. Well, anyway, Jim, Palace's first ever appearance in the Community Shield. Liverpool, though, in contrast, have won the bugger 16 times, the third most wins in history.
Yeah.
You'd surely fancy them to win at a 17th because of the players they have.
I just think we'll never hear the end of it if they get a 17th Community Shield. just be banners at every game. Just constantly singing about it. It's like, God, please not that.
Didn't Ollie Glasner say he wanted to knock Liverpool off their Community Shield perch? So it's a chance.
I wanted to knock them off their shield.
There's an early chance here for them to sort of begin the long road and putting that right.
Genuinely, I think... Obviously, Liverpool, if they win it, they'll be pleased to win it because they're a huge club with a winning mentality. But you do wonder, like, it will actually mean something to Palace. Because, as you mentioned, it's their first appearance there in a way that it won't to Liverpool. So it'd be very interesting to see how they approach it. I'm sure it's essentially just the best kind of pre-season game you can have, isn't it? Because it's at Wembley, it's massive. There's something kind of nominally riding on it, and it's often quite a fun game because the stakes are quite low, right? So yeah, I'll be watching it.
We like to see a penalty shootout in a Community Shield.
Yeah, why not?
Do we?
Do you know? I mean, a good game, but I went all Brucey there. It's a good game, and then it's just a little bit of extra tension because, as Jim said, it's quite a low pressure affair. So I feel like a penalty shootout just ramps it up that time.
I suppose, yeah. It's a bit like sometimes when you watch extra time in tournaments or even like the knockout stages of cup competitions. You're like, you know, very much kind of this meeting could have been an email. This extra time could have been a penalty shootout. I suppose this is what that is. Yeah.
Definitely. Although, like Liverpool... low pressure penalties is quite a fun idea. Everyone just doing like Rabonas and whatnot. It never pans out that way, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah, fair enough. Can you make a case for Palace winning this, Vish?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Not least because I suppose Liverpool have got to work out, not necessarily work out, but I suppose give game time to a few of their new pieces. As it were. Like, I think there's not necessarily a lot riding on it from a cohesion point of view, but there is an expectation in this kind of game that you see a lot of those new players that you've brought in. So whether it's Florian Wirtz, whether it's Ekitike, or even like Kirkes to a point, and whether Kirkes starts, I mean...
Or Frimpong as well. I mean, they've got a lot of new toys.
Yeah, of course, yeah, and Frimpong, how can I forget? So, I suppose on that side, if they get, 60 minutes into each of them in their desired roles, and there's a bit of promise there, then they'll probably take an extra time, or rather a penalty shootout defeat. At the same time, I think probably for the first time in a while...
They take a penalty shootout defeat?
Yeah. As in, like, if they lose on penalties, they're not necessarily going to wear it that harshly, are they? The point I was trying to make is that like it's kind of more for those players. But at the same time, this is probably the first Community Shield in a while that I can remember that would actually have two sets of fans who are properly up for it. And that'll naturally contribute to probably a more intense game as well. So, yeah, like as Jim said, it's going to be quite exciting. It might be the best one we've seen for a while, actually, despite the low stakes.
Yeah, true. I mean, although Liverpool fans, I mean, you couldn't blame them if they thought, do you know what? We're in European competition. We've got plans to go far. All the cups we've potentially got a lot of travel this season, and we've had a lot of travel. Do we really fancy?
Are you suggesting they do a Man United? Pull out of it, undermine it forevermore.
No, I, that's not the thoughts of the players I'm suggesting. I'm saying that in Vish's, when he's saying about both sets of fans up for it, of course you're in a final, Wembley and all the rest of it. But I think you sit here, I mean, I suppose with the tradition of the Liverpool fans, yes, if they gather, they're going to make a good noise. Palace fans, I get what you're saying. I mean, I was at the game when Leicester City were there against, it would have been Ibrahimovic's Manchester United, as he would have described them, and it was great to see Leicester there. Of course, a team not that familiar with the Community Shield. So I understand what you mean. I think we're all hoping for a kind of a raucous game. Could you make an argument though for Palace here? Because despite all the chat, they have a settled team. I know that sounds a bit silly because obviously Gay and Eze subject of a lot of transfers, but they're still ultimately there. There's not been much talk of them doing an Isak and skipping training and all that kind of thing. So as we know that they're there, they're a part of the team, they're preparing for this game, and this team knows how to do well in cup competitions. They, the way they played against Man City, of course, in the FA Cup final a few months ago. Whereas Liverpool, the players they're bringing in are bloody brilliant to an already brilliant side. I understand that. But this is much more of a kind of a testing ground for Arne Slot than it would be for, say, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, well, I suppose Palace's remit will be just do exactly what we did in the FA Cup final and try and execute it in a similar manner you would expect. Now, they can obviously be a really exciting and sort of irresistible attacking force in some contexts, but it's a very risky strategy against a team as good as Liverpool. And obviously, we saw to devastating effect how they are a lot more efficient up front than Man City were last season. So it's a risky game. I imagine it will be the game they play. But yeah, I mean, I think you can make the argument that we've seen them win the FA Cup by trying to contain what is essentially a better team than and using their quality on the break. So why not? I'm sure they'll do it again.
Yeah. Could it be Darwin Núñez's farewell match for Liverpool if he plays, Vish? Because apparently Al Hilal have reached an agreement with him and Liverpool, 46 million plus add-ons Al Hilal are expected to pay. It'd be a fitting end to the man's career, a triumph at Wembley.
I mean, they'd be stupid to play him and risk losing some of that 46 million. That's madness. I don't know who's advising the Saudis, but obviously everyone in the Premier League and the rest of Europe are like, no one say anything. Don't write blogs about it. We don't need to hear from the Smarter podcast. We don't need you going into their accounts telling what they're doing wrong. Everyone shut up and let them play 46 million for a player we want to get rid of. Leave it. Don't worry about it. Okay. So I don't imagine he will play. Is what
Stick him on the bench though.
Get a little wave. Get a medal. Oh, he's got a medal now. That's 75.
You're gonna have to pay a bit extra now. Yeah.
Yeah. Your add-ons was if he wins something when he's there. Yeah. What if he wins something when he's still with us?
Yeah, that's what they're waiting for.
And this one's a shield as well, different novelty. So get that.
Oh dear.
Put that price up.
When the Premier League starts, Liverpool they will be and are the favourites for the Premier League, of course. Crystal Palace, it will remain to be seen where people, or how people think they'll do with, as I say, with regards to Eze and Gay, if they're going to stay or go, and all that kind of stuff. It always seems to be a saga with Mark Gay. He's got 1 year left on his contract, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. With regard to their European travels this season, we know that currently they are going to be playing in the Europa Conference League qualifying round. So they're not even in the tournament. They've been drawn to play the winner of Friedrichstad or Midtjylland, with Midtjylland leading the draw 3-1 on aggregate after the first leg. Now, any mention of that game was quickly removed from the Palace website, as the club is obviously still fighting to play in next season's Europa League. Crystal Palace's Court of Arbitration hearing takes place today, and a decision is expected on Monday. So everybody involved, if you could make that decision before we record Monday's version of the Ramble, that would be incredibly convenient. Ideal.
Maybe this is yet another example of kind of Premier League bias from an English podcast, but maybe just keep Forest in the Europa League as well. Just let them both in there. Yeah, can't hurt, can it?
Or let them have a game to determine who goes in the Europa League and who goes in the Conference League.
Hey? Oh, there's your Community Shield. That's way better.
And then whoever wins that, they and Manchester United go into the Europa League. Because that's what everyone wants. That's what everyone wants.
Every single person wants that.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Very true, if you believe lies. Gentlemen, this weekend the Championship returns, of course. Birmingham City minority owner Tom Brady, Wrexham co-owner Rob McElhenney, and Swansea co-owner Snoop Dogg are all involved. They're all Championship clubs, and they recorded a video together to promote the new season. Have you seen it, Jim Campbell?
I have. They spend a fair bit of time explaining what the sport is to an American audience, which I have to say leaves me a little bit cold from where I'm sat. But I do understand that, the Championship is now some sort of pissing contest between American celebrities. So might as well just get on board with it, I guess.
Yeah. Vish,
God. Part of me thinks it insults the intelligence of Americans who are into soccer.
Yep.
And the other part of me thinks I hate Americans.
Right.
And it's difficult with an American wife to really articulate that, but she is at work at the moment, so it's fine.
Yes.
Oh, you're brave.
And you're not there, or presumably planning to go there anytime soon. But
this room does have a lock. It's kind of my office, but it's also a panic room, so yes, useful.
If you are going there soon, which perhaps you may well do, you do love the president.
He's the best bit about it, really. He is the best. The Musketeer.
You don't have to be nice to him anymore.
Leave him out of it.
Only if. Yeah, only if the Don likes the Musketeer, in which if he doesn't, I hate him.
Yep.
I like tariffs. I like Mackies.
Yeah.
One of those things is definitely true.
Yeah.
And I hate this video.
Right, okay. So we got there in the end.
Yeah.
So, yes, good luck to all of them in the Championship. Swansea boss Alan Sheehan has confirmed that he likes Snoop Dogg. So that's something all of Swansea can get behind. He said he hasn't met him yet,
as Snoop says.
Swansea, absolutely, yes. Swan on Sea. He said he hasn't met him yet, but his music is, and I quote, fine. Now, it does depend. It does depend how he said that word. Because if he said he's produced some fine music over the years, that's a compliment.
Yeah.
Whereas if he said, what do you think of his music? Yeah, fine. That's not a compliment, is it?
No, it's Steve McManaman.
He's just listening to Nothing But a G Thing going, yeah, that's fine. That is fine.
Yeah, tick that box. Got next album.
To load out what? Going crazy? Again, fine. Fine. I don't need to say the word. It's totally fine.
Yeah. No, we don't do the gin or the juice at training, Snoop. Right. Now, we should say that the second tier podcast have predicted Ipswich will win the league and Southampton will finish second in the Championship this season.
Their predictions are generally very good, right, as well?
Well, they are. But for a Premier League... I don't think it's a stretch to call you a Premier League snob, Jim Campbell, looking at Arsenal. What do you think of that? Because it does seem unlike there go the fireworks in Jim's background. Is that quite... So we talk about the Premier League being a bit of a closed shop. The three up go straight down now. There's worries of that. If it's like just 6 teams rotating, that will be severely
I've got
depressing.
a feeling that this season Liverpool might be so good that 19 teams get relegated. So we'll see how that pans out.
See what you're doing there. Well, you can find out the second tier's final Championship League table predictions by listening to the episode below this one in the Football Ramble feed. Make sure you listen to second tier throughout the Championship season to keep up to date with the most chaotic league in the world. It is brilliant down there. Don't get me wrong, Fulham. Don't then just go, okay, let's try and please old Speller. Let's get back down there. I like our Premier League status, but the Championship is a hoot. So get involved with the second tier. Search for second tier in your podcast app now to subscribe. Coming up after this, could beautiful Jack Grealish be on the move?
No pressure, but when a World Cup comes, we're expecting a win here in Los Angeles for the USA, aren't we, everybody? And there you go. And so we're here to support you to get that done.
Welcome back to the Football Ramble, everybody. That was a congresswoman in America thinking that Heung-min Song plays for the United States when he was doing his media stuff for LAFC. So if a player signs to your league, they don't necessarily represent your nation. Believe me, if that was the case, England would be in a very good place right now. But it isn't the case, Jim Campbell. And Son Heung-min plays for Korea Republic, or South Korea, as we affectionately call them.
Yeah, he does not play for the USA now, as everyone knows. It's really easy to just, figure that out, isn't it? Surely.
It's not your Heung-min Son, it's not your canal. Deal with it.
Yeah. Well, he completed his move to LAFC. I did quite enjoy that Son admitted that LAFC wasn't his first choice, but a chat with the club's president changed his heart. So he's an absolute gem of a footballer and a person, Son Heung-min. You spoke about him the other day when it was finalised that he was leaving, and that interview he did with, I think it was with Ben Haynes, wasn't it, on Spurs TV, when he was very emotional, and you saw what the club meant to him because what he means to the fans. It's very rare you get that in football nowadays, that kind of level of connection. But I did quite like, though, that straight away, look, this wasn't my first choice, but the president twisted my arm and I'm here.
Yeah, but I think that's a refreshing and enjoyable honesty, right?
Yeah, I think that he changed his heart. I think was actually the wording of that was quite good, because that could have been misconstrued. Because when you first read that, this really wasn't what I had in mind. You go, oh, and then he says he changed my heart. So a chance for him to connect with some more fans.
Yeah, and I think it's probably not that difficult to be talked into the idea that if you live in LA, you might have a really good time. You might have a really, really nice time there, So I think that probably for the residents of LA, that's probably like, it is amazing here, actually. You're right. To reconsider and go, actually, this is a brilliant option. I think, Spurs have got north of 20 million for him as well, which I think for a 33-year-old player is a brilliant business. Yeah, well, yet more credit to Daniel Levy.
Yeah, again, we pile the credit on that man. It's an MLS record as well, that signing.
Well,
so again, as Jim says, I mean, obviously there's plenty of life in Son's tank, but 33 for that amount of money, it's not too shabby, Vish.
No, not at all. I wonder with that record though, it's probably more of a front-facing record, isn't it? It's like, we've paid this much for someone, and you don't see it's not like the Messi deal, which had like 5 different conglomerates behind the scenes, kind of pouring into that. Obviously his profile as well. It's a big acquisition for the league. It's probably a territory where they don't command too much of a pool. So, I mean, you see what it does for like the social numbers of particular clubs when they sign high-profile Korean players in particular. So, that's only going to be another boost. And also, they're just, as you said, like fundamentally, they're just getting a really genial, popular guy as well. And it helps that he's gorgeous. So, win-win.
Yeah, absolutely right. And Jim, he links up with Hugo Lloris, who's already there.
Yeah, that's just enjoyable. So it's a handsome team. And he'll be a real leader in there.
Team.
In terms of
it is a
skincare tips and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, they did have Olivier Giroud, of course. So you are right to say that it's a very handsome team.
It's a town full of beautiful people, isn't it? There is there must be some sort of unspoken bar that you have to reach before you're allowed to play for them.
Yeah, and he's 33, so he's probably safe from Leonardo DiCaprio as well. I should say that Seoul is about 3 hours closer to LA than London flying time, so slightly more convenient for those who are from his homeland who want to go and see him play. A win-win all round. I think we can all agree on that. Back at Spurs, this is a sickener. It's been revealed that James Maddison will miss the majority of the season with a torn ACL. So in that farewell game, of course, that Son had for Spurs in his home country, Maddison got that injury, and like your heart goes out to the guy.
Yeah.
Like he missed the Europa League final. Of course, it's the same injury. He obviously exacerbated, and like to be a footballer when you miss out on something, you know, he had a good time obviously with the celebrations and all. But when you miss a period of football and you do the same thing and it is way longer, that is so demoralising.
It's such a long time to be out as well, and it completely changes the social dynamic of your life, really, in terms of, you know, just doing the rehab and not being training with your mates and all of that stuff. And missing a season of your career at that stage, I think he's 28, is he, Maddison? He's certainly in his late 20s. That is something where you're probably thinking, am I going to be the same when I come back? And also, like, this is just
World Cup year.
Yeah, it's a real shame for him. I suppose there's no upside to it, but it has happened within the window. Spurs were looking at a player in that position anyway, so they have a chance to address it. But it is it's a sickener for them.
Yeah, and Maddison as well.
Yeah, even the club side of it is not good news for Maddison, because they'll likely bring in someone who has to hit the ground running, will therefore be ready-made for their plans this season, and will be younger than Maddison.
Yeah.
So even if he comes back ahead of time, and his knee is reinforced, he will find himself further back than when he started this pre-season. And Marcus, as you said, a World Cup year, given his age, you know, let's be frank, it was probably his last chance to make a World Cup.
Yeah.
And that's gone. Like, fundamentally, it has gone, unless he has some remarkable patch of form. And again, there are injuries to his rivals in those kind of positions. But yeah, it's gutting for him. I know, like, people often like hate on him a little bit because he's quite corny, and, like, I suppose because he's
fairly outspoken,
he's a bit cheesy, but he's outspoken in a kind of like Jack the Lad kind of way.
Yeah,
that you should be able to excuse in this world. But I have a lot of affection for him, and this was very gutting when it came out.
Yeah, because he was at the last World Cup in Qatar, but I don't think he got on the pitch. And he's always, you know, desperate ambitions to play for him, not quite there, and you just think, barring some sort of miraculous comeback and then some amazing form, and really, it is extremely unlikely.
And also, like, I know you can say this about a lot of players, but it's especially true with him. He is very open about the fact that he loves playing football.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That isn't that common, and it's and that adds an extra layer of sadness on this.
It certainly does, yeah. Well, hopefully he has the quickest of recoveries possible. Right, gentlemen, let's turn our attention to some transfer news. Manchester United. Vidushan, your beloved Manchester United. This is...
Oh, what have we done now? What have we bloody done? Go on, then.
A Manchester United fan has set up a GoFundMe page with a target of £120 million to try and raise funds for the club to try to sign Carlos Baleba from Brighton. Yeah, I don't know if you know the Man United fan, Ian M. That's all he's going by. But he started the fundraiser on Wednesday night titled Baleba to Man United Fund. The description reads, "We need this to happen. We need this to happen. We need this to happen. We need this to happen." There's a £120 million target set. At the time of recording, a mighty £159 has been raised. I don't know if that is from former employees of Manchester United who are still all behind the club, presumably. But where was the GoFundMe page for the members of staff that got sacked by that bastard Sir Jim, eh? You lot are a disgrace, Vish.
I can't even make a joke about that. That's absolutely spot on, isn't it? And I'm sure there were, and like there were obviously like different parts of it, but I suppose this is getting the most publicity. And
Has Sir Jim given the 159 quid?
Well, I've messaged Ian M. And basically said, look, you're doing a good thing here. And if you want to pass on your messages, it's ian.m@ineos.com. I'm sure he'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild to think that, the reason that a fan would do
120
this.
million.
But the reason that a fan...
120 million pounds.
The reason that a fan would do this, and it might be bollocks, it might be made up, but let's take it at face value here.
Yeah. It's the Football Ramble.
Please take us at face value here. But the reason this would exist is because a fan would have done the maths for PSR and been like, we've already spent a lot of money we didn't know we had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not take the piss here.
And also, as well,
let's all cobble together, all of us.
there's so many
Even
factors.
you would have got some severance from being sacked from Manchester United. Put that back in the pot.
There are so many factors, though, right? Because you've got to think of the Man United tax that goes on top of every transfer, and then the Brighton tax that they put on top of their own transfer.
Oh,
so
how
many taxes are there here that you need to factor in? So he's just gone, surely 120 million of our money will do it. Maybe they can top up the pot themselves.
Yeah. I'd love to know Sir Jim Ratcliffe's thoughts on this. Maybe he's E&M. That's his marks.
Who knows? One of his many sock puppet accounts, I would imagine. But yeah, he. It seems like there is a legitimate desire from Man United to get Baleba. We should take it seriously. I think it would be prohibitively expensive. Brighton don't want to sell. We know how good they are at holding on to their players if they want to, or selling them for a huge amount of money if they choose to go that way. But it's another show of intent from United. And I think the three players they've brought in so far, I don't think Sesko's confirmed yet, but it's looking like it's all but done. They are players that immediately raise the quality of the first team. And I think there is a gaping hole in that midfield, isn't there? That seems like a really obvious candidate, that position, for someone who would come in. And Baleba's a sort of quick, front-footed, very strong, kind of sharp tackler, and you can see immediately how he would improve that midfield. So, it probably won't happen, but the intent is interesting. And again, I think they're having a really good window. I mean, how do you feel about the balance of the squad now, Vish? Because obviously it's very, very good up front at the moment, but like I said, it does feel like there's still a need for some signings further back.
Yeah, and there's a logic to say that if they do get Baleba, then it would alleviate some of the pressures or some of the issues at the back in defence, because you've got a bit more cover there, you've got more legs in front of them, you've got someone who, by all accounts, and we've watched a fair bit of him in his Premier League career, someone who, as you say, is very energetic, but also doesn't seem to waste the ball, gives it away quickly, but not in the Manchester United sense of giving it to the opposition, gives it away to someone else on his team very quickly. Good recycler, and there were patches last year where and you really had to squint to see them to be like, I kind of know what he's trying to do with that midfield. And certainly from people better versed in this kind of stuff, Baleba would bring that further forward or progress that even further. But yeah, it's been a confusing window as a Manchester United fan, because I've been very excited, and at the same time I'm like, okay, so how does this mess up? Which is the point of, how does this come a cropper? And even little things about people who've been on these tours, with pre-season tours with Manchester United, journalists talking about a change in culture. On the one side, that's a good thing. On the other side, this is the most optimistic time of the season before the season actually starts. So you take everything with a pinch of salt. And I say that with a great degree of pessimism, I admit. But yeah, it's quite exciting. It all looks quite flair. And I don't know. Am I allowed to be happy? I think I am happy.
I think so,
you
mate.
could be happy. If you're concerned, then contact E&M and stump up some cash. You have the power to help this situation, thanks to Oldie.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
What I would say is, though,
point.
I think that Manchester United, I'd love it if Ruben Amorim turned them into the entertainers, like proper Keegan's Newcastle stuff. Because, as you say, you've got Brian Mbumo there, Mateus Cunha, two brilliant signings. Benjamin Šeško they've agreed a deal in principle. That's happening. Make them top heavy. Don't worry about that. He just gets.
You're right.
Šeško he's 6'5". Get the ball into him. And Ahmad and Dorgu are there for the little flick-ons out wide. Yeah. I think just swarm them.
Get your
Someone
midfield of
get there.
Casemiro and Ian Brown and just go for it.
in the centre of the pitch.
Someone did like an ideal Manchester United 11, which had obviously players in the squad, but a couple of players who they linked with, including Sesko, Baleba, and there might have been one other as well. And genuinely, it was like, God, that looks amazing. Just don't look at Bez at left back, but otherwise, that's brilliant. That is so good.
I mean, presumably they are going to get Sesko, with as much has been said on this pod and beyond. It would be a good signing. He looks a player. I know people are always quick to say, but he's not quite the finished article. He's only young, blah blah blah. But if you look at what he can do, then they have to be seriously improved from last season. They just have to be. Otherwise,
but I suppose this. Then it comes like, what is the... Yeah, but then it becomes like, right, you've spent this much money. You can't just be like, well, we finished in the top half this time, didn't we? There's a bit more to it than that.
Well, I think that time will tell this season with Amorim, because I know he's only, what has he had, half a season or whatever it is, a part of a season at Manchester United, and it was really tough going. I think this season, you're right. I think if you see the green shoots, and you see something, the Manchester United have to finish, let's be clear, above 15th for it to be an improvement. Right? That's where we are. Don't have a go at me, Man. If I don't leave comment, that's where they are. Right,
Marcus.
Okay.
Marcus, is 14th with no European football an improvement?
Yeah. So this, Jim,
is it?
Yes.
It is, Jim.
It is, Jim. You don't get it. It is.
Incredibly, Jim. Right? Again, this is not my opinion. This is a fact. It is an improvement. Okay? It is. Forget your points tallies and all. But I think with Amorim, the idea of them having... I mean, I don't think anybody's mentioned them challenging for the title. I think that would be madness.
Luke Shaw has.
God bless him. But...
He hasn't been around for ages.
But I think with Manchester United, it really is just see how you go. Because if you see some proper green shoots and you can see some real improvement, you can start to look at managers elsewhere and how they improve things, and it maybe took them a bit of time. I'm fascinated to see what will happen. I think they will improve. If they could get European football, that'd be incredible. But it's a ball hasn't even been kicked yet, so I'll stop myself getting running away with myself here. So we shall see. I still fancy him to be the first one to walk post Ferguson, but who knows? He did say he wants to stay there for the next 20 years. So is he a glutton for punishment? Is he a very confident man who's going to put it right? Yeah. Only time will tell, gentlemen, and that is the beauty of football and how time works generally. Now Sesko, of course, became the 7th player to reject Newcastle United this summer, which is quite damning on the club. I thought it was good times at Newcastle United. They won the League Cup, they're in the Champions League, and yet no one seems to want to go there.
This has been the weirdest sort of sideshow of the window for me. I can't believe it.
I know Anthony Elanga's gone there, so they have made a couple of signings, and Elanga's a really good signing. For me, Newcastle's like one of the teams to be at the moment in the Premier League.
They're in the Champions League. Obviously, perhaps it's a wages thing. Maybe they can't offer the wages that rival clubs can because of the PSR restrictions. But because there must be some kind of explanation as to why so many players are looking at this project and going, oh, you know what, I feel better elsewhere. It could also be the kind of lack of a director of football. Perhaps that just means they're at a disadvantage in negotiations. Maybe there's something there, but it's 7 players is a lot, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, I understand that those players have gone to like Manchester United or Chelsea or wherever. So, these are big clubs who have got a bigger tradition historically and more recently than Newcastle United. I get that. But I just think that Newcastle, you would think that they are in a relative position of strength and they're finding it difficult to strengthen. They have strengthened because Elanga's gone there. But the whole situation with Isak, it's been extraordinary over these past few weeks or however long it's been going on. I mean, he has been asked to train away from the first team. And he reportedly wasn't invited to the Newcastle family barbecue. Oh. I mean, when you're not being invited to the family barbecue, Vish, you know that something's up.
Yeah, but I suppose in my case it's justified, isn't it? I think maybe in Isak's it's justified. But his family is still allowed to go and he wasn't allowed to go.
Yeah,
that'd be weird, wouldn't it?
Maybe.
You've got your kids on. You've got your kids, Isak. You can't go. You can't leave the club.
They're happy here.
Can I throw something in there that I don't? I mean, I'm just throwing this out speculatively, but do you think the lack of signings and the lack of pull, as Jim alluded to with the lack of director of football, do you think it also works in the way that they haven't really dealt with too many agents, and therefore they haven't necessarily like built up a rapport or even that kind of that transactional relationship, that consistent transactional relationship with, you know, I suppose the top end agents that often run, you know, all of these transfers, and you know, there's a small pool of agents who do that,
possibly,
and therefore, you know, because it feels like a lot of, you know, it's no coincidence where if you look at transfer news in particular, that you will often see the same types of clubs, specifically the same clubs actually, linked to certain players, and it's always, without fail, Manchester United and Chelsea, because Manchester United and Chelsea in this, well, you know, in the kind of like 2000s through to 2010s, were constantly in discussions with these agents, talking to these players, and maybe Newcastle, fresh to this, just don't necessarily have that relationship. So it's not even necessarily on them, because I always think, and this is probably a bit of a romanticised view of it, but I always kind of think, get them through the door at Newcastle and get them to see it and be like, look, there is so much already in place here, and I appreciate modern football doesn't work like that, but I'm like, I mean, you look at what Isak has been able to build up at Newcastle. You're
Which
like,
is such a shame. Why he wants to look. It's his career. He wants to put another $100,000 or whatever on his salary. Blah 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 blah. Look, fine, but it's such a shame after the season they've had. You know, he gets the winning goal in the cup final. The scenes of celebration in Newcastle after that cup final win, phenomenal. And it's like, right now build from that. And look, I get the fact that we're mentioning, but they've got Champions League. Well, Chelsea got Champions League as well. I understand that, and a number of other sides. But it is a shame for them. I mean, Ollie Watkins was the next name being linked with a move to Newcastle United, although the man who knows, David Ornstein, has said like, he's just not for sale. Like Aston Villa have made that clear time and time again. I know everyone's got their price, but I think it's very unlikely. I'm getting in Orney's slipstream here, Jim, because that's the wise place to be.
Absolutely.
When it comes to transfers in particular. It's not happening.
No, I mean, and
He's
also,
not my mate. I've never met him. But all he says it's not happening.
Yeah, but we believe in the Ornacle. I don't see the upside for Villa there. You know, he's essentially the most Premier League proven option in this hypothetical market. I know they've just signed, or they're sort of looking very likely to sign Evan Guessand from France, but that just leaves them with two strikers on the books. So that's not a replacement for Watkins. That's to complement him. And can you replace a player like Ollie Watkins without spending the entirety of the fee that you get for him? It's just pointless. It doesn't make any sense for Villa. And by all accounts, he's not pushing for a move or anything. So I think that one's a bit of a no-go, to be honest.
Yeah, but there's still a little bit of time in the window, so maybe we'll see Newcastle sign somebody. But look, if they don't sign anybody else, and Isak is still there, he's going to have to play football.
Yeah, I mean, they may be in a situation where they have to make him stay.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you made the point a couple of weeks ago, or whenever it was, Jim, on the Ramble, that it feels like he's left it a little bit too late to start this, and who knows, maybe he's been poorly advised. I don't know. I think it's a great shame if Isak wasn't there in this coming season to be a part of the Champions League campaign and to see what they could do, because such an important player, such a loved player who's written himself into Newcastle United folklore, quite frankly, just with that winning goal alone in the cup final. So he may well still be there, and if he does, look, it can still be good. We've seen players before, have a bit of a strop or whatever way you want to spin it, and they remain and they go on and continue to play well for the club. So a fascinating situation at Newcastle United. I want to turn our attention, gentlemen, to Everton, because Everton have approached Manchester City of a possible deal to sign Jack Grealish on loan. Oh, we want to see more of those calves, because he only started one Premier League game last season. I know he had his injury troubles, Jim, but my goodness, for a player of that talent, who again in a World Cup year, Grealish will be desperate to make the England squad. He was so gutted to miss out on the Euros in 2024. Yeah. It is a big window for Grealish, because it's quite clear he's not going to play much at Man City if he stays. Yeah,
he absolutely has to leave. He's not really been playing in pre-season either, so the writing is very much on the wall there. And we all love Jack Grealish, don't we? He's a player we want to see play week in, week out, just because the entertainment factor he brings. I think Everton would be an interesting fit. And I say interesting because it isn't that long ago that it seemed not quite unfathomable, but unlikely that he would be interested in playing for a team outside of the European places. But it looks like that it just isn't an option for him. Now, I said a few months ago that I think Forest would be a really good fit for him. Perhaps his wages are too big for that to work, but I've not actually seen that link. But I mean, Everton it seems to be, or they seem to be the club that's pushing for it the most. I don't know if David Moyes is the right player or the right manager to bring back the Maverick Grealish that we all want to see. He is
a big fan of Grealish,
but he isn't generally a manager that likes to have a player who kind of has the freedom to go and do whatever he wants, right? Which is what we really want from Grealish.
Yeah, but I mean, Grealish has played a different role at Man City, and also, I mean, I understand why you say that. Very different role he played at Man City, which he took time to learn, but he learned it, it's fair to say, because he was a regular starter in a treble-winning season. He's not played much last season, and also the idea of Grealish not being able to roll his sleeves up or roll his socks down or whatever you want to phrase it and get stuck into a team who are in the lower half of the league. I understand it's been a while since he's done that, but he did that with Villa. So he has done it.
I'm not saying he can't do that.
Indeed. But what do you think, Vish? Because there were other clubs that were interested. I mean, Napoli were interested. I mean, that would be quite the move. Obviously on loan, I think, again, the wages and all that kind of boring stuff are there. He reportedly rejected Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce, which would have been quite something. But there is talk that Grealish and his team are just waiting because come towards the end of the window, they think that other clubs may come forward because despite, what we've seen Grealish do off the pitch, if you understand what I mean, or and so on and so forth, and the injuries, he's a phenomenal player.
He is. I think the Everton matchup would be brilliant, personally. If we park the numbers side to it in terms of the financials, I think Everton have been crying out for that kind of player for a long time, Everton fans in particular. The fact that it's a bit of flair. The fact that it's a new stadium adds an extra bit onto it as someone who can fill it, quite literally. His presence, get people in their seats.
It's a steady ship under Moyes, you would think as well now.
Yeah, 100%. And also, I think if you look at Moyes' teams, even last year with Everton in someone like Ndiaye, like there is always someone who is encouraged to be the flair player. We even saw that at West Ham in patches as well. But I think fundamentally, getting Jack Grealish playing regularly in front of fans who adore him is just good. And that to me is the long and short of it. I think it'll be a lovely little matchup. I think he'll be loved. I think it's the kind of place that has long had a history of craving those kind of flair players. And then I think of that Ancelotti team where they probably got too many all at the same time.
James Rodriguez in there.
Yeah. But there is a lot to really like about it, and I appreciate it might be quite unlikely, and there might be better fits out there. And as you say, it might even be the case that he's just the highest profile mover on deadline day itself. But for me, I kind of love it, so I'm all in for it.
I also think that Everton have by far and away the best home kit in the league this season. And I think they'll sell an absolute boatload of them with Jack Grealish's name on the back.
Yeah.
Well, getting them printed up now, Everton fans.
That'll help with the wages.
There we are. All right, coming up after this, Scott McSauce has been nominated for the Ballon d'Or. Right, gentlemen, it's the big one, the Ballon d'Or. The one everybody wants. The nominees have been announced, and Napoli's Scott McTominay has made the 30-player shortlist. If he wins that, come on.
There's an amazing little thing that's happened in our running order here as well that I'm just going to jump ahead to, if you don't mind. Scottish producer Rory has noted notable other British players to make the list are Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, Cole Palmer, and Harry Kane. He's done the reverse Andy Murray.
Yeah. Yeah, so Chris Hoy, they're all in there. I mean, it's McTominay's to lose, surely,
I
Jim.
think so, isn't it? Very much one of those where you're just happy to be nominated. Can you get get your laurels? Like if a theatre show or a comedy show gets a nomination for something, you get a laurel, like nominated for the best newcomer at the Northampton Fringe or whatever, and then you just have it there forever. You should get it on your shirt.
I thought you went Cilla Black there. Look, you get your laurels of laughs. Vish, what do you reckon then? Is he a shoo-in, or do you fancy maybe Ousmane Dembele, for example?
Well, I mean, I think first and foremost, it's a massive feather in the cap of the Manchester United Academy for the club who gave him this opportunity.
Put a bet on now for 2026, Marcus Rashford, Ballon d'Or. Yeah. Do it now, everybody.
Yeah, it is incredible. It's like he's on the best holiday that refuses to end.
Yeah.
Because he has a lovely time. I still remember when he scored that first goal for Napoli last season, and it was like, it'd be good if he enjoys himself.
Oh, he's starting. He's starting, He's actually starting out there. People, yeah.
Oh, but he's driving from midfield. They're letting him drive from midfield over there. That's a bit weird. Yeah. And then fast forward, he's drinking lovely wine. He's smoking tabs.
Yeah.
Like he's having
raving about tomatoes.
Yeah. He's having like the most amazing Italian summer. And I've got to go back to work now. By the way, here's a fucking Ballon d'Or nomination, yeah? Roll that up and smoke that then.
Oh dear! May I remind everybody and Vish you as well that his last game for Manchester United, he won the FA Cup as well. He has played an absolute blinder. Wins the FA Cup with Manchester United, rides out of town. Well, I would say driven out of town. Quite frankly, the way they treated him was a disgrace. No, I jest. He rides out of town, goes to Napoli. Is the best player in Serie A, which is some achievement, and now he's on for the Ballon d'Or. Now, I say he's on for the Ballon d'Or. We have to come back to something close to reality because Mohamed Salah's in there as well. Vitinha, you start mentioning these players. There is some very, very stiff competition. I'm not sure. Some people might think there's an obvious winner. I suppose that the names that ones that stand out would be Ousmane Dembele, Mohamed Salah, Vitinha maybe.
I think Vitinha's maybe an outside shout.
Yeah.
It's got to be Dembele for me. I think we spoke about this a fair bit last season, didn't we, when PSG were on the latter part of their run to the Champions League. But, I mean, he's just a man reborn. And it would be incredible if, of the kind of Ballon d'Or winner / nominees that he spent his time playing third and fourth fiddle to, if he was like, this is mine now, and strolls off.
Do you think, though, I mean, Rafinha and Lamine Yamal have obviously had good times. Do you think the Club World Cup counts for anything? Because therefore, does Cole Palmer get it ahead of Dembele? The answer's no.
I don't think it does, yeah. But I gave it real consideration, though, Mark.
I appreciate that.
I know you're a convert, but I don't think it does. Not yet.
Well, if I had a vote...
What about Rosetsky? Rosetsky's in with a shout, isn't he?
He always is for me, but I'm a Jeremy Bates man, as you know. But it's a very old reference there. If you got that, well done. Well bloody done.
I like Fred Perry.
Yeah, now you're talking. Last Englishman ever to win Wimbledon. And perhaps ever, the way things are going. I don't know. Now, new Premier League arrivals, Vitor Gyökeres and Florian Wirtz were also nominated alongside Erling Haaland, Alexis McAllister, Mo Salah.
Alexis McAllister, can we have a moment to appreciate him getting in there? I think that's great, that little bit of recognition. He had an excellent season. He's a brilliant player, but maybe a bit unsung.
Two Scottish nominees, nice.
Lovely, yeah, always appreciated. Do you think it is... See, if someone said... in the Ballon d'Or nominations, you're just making up the numbers. It sounds like a disrespect, but if you're making up the numbers in the Ballon d'Or nominations, you're obviously doing something right, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're more in there than most players.
Indeed, yeah.
I like the way this is also, he's obviously an exceptional player, and he's won so much in the last few years, but not a single mention, and I think he'd like this, for Fabian Ruiz.
Yeah, Ruiz is in there.
Is he? That's what I mean. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, there you go. That proves the point, doesn't it? I've read that list. Of course, I have.
The man Fabian Ruiz hasn't run or got into a sprint for 4 years.
Yeah.
And he's just casually waltzed into the Ballon d'Or list.
And that's why he wouldn't get my vote. You got to run fast if you're going to get in there. Chelsea got nominated for Men's Club of the Season, quite pleasingly. And Enzo Maresca's
By
been
who? The
nominated.
fucking accountants? What?
Look, they won the FIFA Club World Cup, baby. They're on for that.
Yeah,
they are
fair.
on for it. And if you want to see the trophy, go and visit the White House. But Enzo Maresca's been nominated for Coach of the Year as well. What a turnaround for that man.
I know, yeah. Well, I mean, 2 trophies, Champions League finish.
A lot of stick from his own supporters, though, Jim, throughout the season. But
it's never boring at Chelsea, is it?
If I was Maresca and I won Coach of the Year, I'd walk around that stadium with that trophy in my hand, looking at the wall of the eye, and went, which one of you booed me? Who did it?
Yeah.
Who did it?
Well, like joking it. Which one of you booed me? You're
yeah. Right then. Let's move on to some actual football chat. It's thin on the ground, but don't worry, this weekend's coming. Champions League qualifiers are underway. They've been underway for ages. They were been underway. I think, wasn't it the Club World Cup was still going on? I think the Champions League started. There's a lot of teams, though, Jim. You can't be a Champions League snob like you Arsenal fans are. You go straight into the proper... Well, there's teams who are on the ground, Jim, who have to play lots of qualifying rounds. One of them's Benfica, previous winners of the European Cup.
Why bother? Why bother while the curse is active?
Yeah, true enough. You've got to break the curse somehow. And they only do that by winning it. They beat Nice 2-0 on Wednesday. Before the game... Nice fans provoked Benfica with a tifo that said, Vittoria, the Eagle, is a... That's strong.
Very mean. It's not my favourite...
I don't like it, Jim.
Eagle-based banner, which was a banner by Roma fans that said to Lazio simply, fuck you and fuck your Eagle.
Yeah.
Which is lovely and succinct.
a bit more honest.
Well, I just think...
To be fair, what the Benfica Eagle gets up to in its spare time, we're not here to kink shame.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
Your Eagle is on the game is an odd sort of criticism, which I do respect in a way, but I just think we can do better.
Avian sex work is work.
Exactly.
Yeah? Vittoria the Eagle needs more rights, is what it needs to say.
She should be at Ajax, for example, if that's the case. Anyway, let's move on before we tangle ourselves.
Is that
up
where you
here.
think they all live? Is that where you think all sex workers live?
Oh no.
Amsterdam.
We'll live together in a lovely red house.
No, it's a house, but there's a red light on. I've heard the song. Something to do with Roxanne. Right, anyway, can I move on to Arsenal?
You can't throw rocks at their house because of all the windows. Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, they can't throw stones at me, people in glass houses. Anyway, Arsenal play part 2 of the Emirates Cup at home against Athletic Club on Saturday.
Oh, just fucking hurry up and start already. What is what are we doing?
They're not involved. They're not
with
involved in the Community Shield. They lost the first game against Villarreal 3-2 on Wednesday night. Quite enjoying
I went to the game.
Well, you would have seen former Arsenal man Nicolas Pepe opened the score. You remember him, Jimmy? He was bought for an enormous amount of money.
He was, and it didn't really work out, and he did a lot better than people give him credit for. Actually won the FA Cup as well.
Yeah.
Fans were booing him, which is mad, absolutely mad. I mean, not very many, but like one is too many in that situation.
He didn't choose that price tag.
He didn't, and I didn't realise he was kind of on the pitch until he scored, to be honest. But it was not a great performance in a lot of senses from Arsenal. They don't look ready, really sort of shoddy at the back. It's a bittersweet symphony, this life. I'm not expecting great things this season, I have to say. Already feeling quite down about it. It feels like the good old days, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Genuinely.
Well,
I think I do think they've improved the squad from last season.
They've brought a striker, Jim. They've actually done it.
He had a clunky start. Now I'm not going to judge him on that. Obviously, the team needs to adjust him. The team need to adjust to him. But I think that's going to take a little bit of time. Arsenal have a very tough start. Yeah, I'm.
This is the post Oasis come down, isn't it?
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean,
what it
tomorrow I might feel very differently, but
True.
I've got some concerns about the style being a little bit stale, and also, as I said, the changes needed taking a little bit of time with a very, very difficult start. Obviously, they're away to Old Trafford on the first day of the season. There's
that's all right.
Anfield away, Newcastle away, Man City at home in that as well.
You've got to play all these teams, Jim. You've got to go
You
away
have to play them. Absolutely, you do.
Yeah.
But I think
that happens every year.
Indeed.
I'm a bit worried about it. I think that what's made you depressed about this is after the match when Villarreal won, the teams took part in what can only be described as a very meaningless penalty shootout.
Yeah. Well,
they lost 3-2. Come on, we'll play a penalty then. Yeah. Villarreal also won that.
They did. So they lost twice.
Yeah.
In the same game.
Noni Madueke missed the key penalty as well.
Yeah. So Arsenal do this a lot. Arteta asks opposition managers if they want to do a penalty shootout, so you get the opportunity to practice it in a full
Did in the FA Cup against Man United last season.
Yeah, indeed. Which I think makes a lot of sense. But yeah, at the same time, the way the players approached it didn't seem like that it was very.
Are there fans who don't know that that's a thing? Because is the scoreboard
vast
deceiving
majority
me?
of fans seem to think that. Yeah,
right.
Seem to be like, why are they doing this? Like they do it every time. Don't you watch every Arsenal friendly, you virgin?
Well, fair enough. I think they're going to give you a bit of cheer, Jim. This
yeah, I hope
season.
so. I'm sure there's going to be times I enjoy it, and I'm sure there will be points where the new kind of style and the new players click. But yeah, I just feel an apprehension I've not felt for a while. Possibly because I've had my fingers burned quite badly over the last 2 seasons. But we'll see in terms of the last bit. It's like Game of Thrones, isn't it? Really good, really good, really good, really shit.
Yeah, well, I've never watched it, and sounds like I was right.